Hey there, it's Tom Corson-Knowles, #1 best-selling author of Schedule Your Success and founder of TCK Publishing. Let's talk about how to have insanely awesome relationships in your life. I'm going to share with you 5 simple tips in this video to show you how to dramatically improve the quality of your relationships and the quality of your life. Because at the end of the day, if you've seen the research, if you've seen the studies on relationships, people who have the best quality long-term relationships, whether that's a spouse or great friends, a great community, those kinds of people who have those great quality relationships are healthier, happier, more successful financially. It's like improves every area of your life by having super high quality relationships. So let's talk about how to do that. So tip number 1, what you want to do is make sure you have great relationships with less people. So spend more quality time with less people. In other words, weed out the people from your life who aren't all that important and focus, go all in, go double down on the people in your life who are really, really important. You know, your family, your closest friends, your closest business partners or colleagues, the people in your life who really make a difference in your life and whose life you make a difference in. Just focus on spending more quality time with less people. So instead of trying to have, hundreds of amazing, awesome friends, maybe focus on just 5 or 6 or 10 high quality relationships in your life and find out how to add more value to those relationships. Spend more time with those people and spend less time, going to lunch and coffee dates and dinners and movies and things with people who aren't really that important in your life at the end of the day. So this requires some reflection. Right, spend some time thinking about your relationships and think about who really matters to you in your life and who do you matter to in those relationships, and focus your time and effort on the people at the top of the list, not the people at the bottom of the list. All right, tip number 2 is you want to add more value to your relationships by giving more. So there are some great questions you can ask yourself to help you figure out how to actually add a whole lot more value to your relationships. So simple question, how can I add more value to this person's life? What would really serve this person? How can I better serve them? And maybe you can ask them that question, how can I better serve you as a friend, as a spouse, as a parent, as a business partner, as a colleague? How can I better support you and serve you to get what you want out of life? Ask yourself, how can I support this person above and beyond what's expected? You see, a lot of us, we have these social rules, these social constructs in our life that, I will only help people, to this extent and I won't go any further. Or you tend to do things, the way you've always done things. And sometimes in relationships, if you really want a super high quality relationship in your life, sometimes you've got to just do beyond what's expected. You go out of your way to help someone, you drive someone across town, even though you're busy that day, because you really care about this person, you really want to get them to where they're going. And you don't have to invest tons and tons of time to do this. Sometimes it's just a simple, thoughtful thing you can do for someone to really dramatically improve their life. So be creative and get creative on how you can actually add more value to these people's lives. Another great question I love to ask is, how can I love this person unconditionally? This person in your life who's so important to you, how can you just love them unconditionally? Maybe you've been nagging them about something and maybe you're going to stop doing that. Maybe you've, held this resentment against this person. You're going to share with them about that and be honest and be vulnerable. Maybe you've got a difficult conversation to have with someone who's really important to your life and you've been putting that off. So maybe having that conversation can help you, both of you, come much closer together because you're being honest and vulnerable and letting go of those resentments and those things you've been holding against these people. All right, now tip number 3 to dramatically improve the quality of your relationships is to get rid of distractions. So when you're hanging out with people who really matter to you in your life, get rid of the smartphones and the iPads and the TVs and the screens and the movies and all that stuff. And just sit across from them, look into their eyes, focus on this person, spend quality time together. It's funny today with so many people where they spend lots of time together, they don't actually spend much time connecting with each other, right? You know what I mean? It's like, people who go to dinner together and then they spend all their time on smartphones, or people who hang out all the time, but they're always going to sporting events or movies or things. And they never actually spend much time talking and having conversations and going deep and supporting each other. So instead of just doing what you've always done in relationships and going to do lots of activities and looking at your smartphone and things like that, what if you just schedule time with someone and say, hey, I really want to spend time with you and really just get to know you better and reconnect on a deeper level. Can we just hang out without any TVs or distractions or phones and just have a great conversation for a couple hours, right? Imagine how much more fulfilling your relationships would be if you could really connect with people on a much deeper level. And you can do that if you get rid of the distractions. All right, now tip number 4 is ask deep questions. You see, a lot of us, we're programmed in our society to not ask penetrating questions, to not ask things that make people uncomfortable. But if you are with someone you really care about, someone who's an important relationship in your life, I guarantee you can probably see things about their life that, they could definitely improve, and they can probably see things about your life that you can definitely improve, right? That's one of the beauties of relationships, is that we get to see other people's blind spots, and you can support each other in a loving, kind way to help us reveal those blind spots to each other and to help each other improve their lives and the quality of their lives. And one of the greatest ways to do this is just ask deep questions and just listen to people, right? So, ask, how are you doing really? Like, how is your life really going right now? Are you really happy? How's your work going really? How's your, family life going really? How's your sex life going really? Right? And really ask these penetrating questions and go deep and be willing to listen and let people open up and let people share their true self. So you're not just talking about the weather and small talk and chit chat and things. You're really going deep, talking about what's important to you and what's important to them. A great question to ask someone is, what really matters to you right now? What are you really excited about right now? What are you really passionate about right now in your life? What really lights you up and gets you motivated every day in your life? And by asking these deeper questions, you'll have much deeper conversations and you'll feel a much deeper connection with these people in your life who are already really important to you. All right, now tip number 5 is to listen. Learn to listen really exceptionally well. And one of the great gifts that we can give people in our lives is to just listen to them. It's something that everyone today craves. We're all so hungry for attention. We're all so hungry for someone to just listen to us, to just get us, to really understand us and not try to fix us or change us or just brush things over, or pretend that we're listening, but really we're checking our phones or thinking about something else. Really listening to someone on a deeper level, it gives that person you're listening to like so much freedom to just express themselves, and they feel loved, they feel accepted, they feel happier just because you're listening and not trying to fix or change things. So next time you're having a great conversation with someone, it's really important to you, just listen. Don't try to interrupt them. You can ask questions if you need clarification, and, be engaged in that conversation, but really just focus on listening. Really just focus on understanding them first, right? This great quote from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is, seek first to understand before you try to be understood yourself. And so give people that gift of understanding. Listen to them deeply. Try to understand them as best as you possibly can. And only then will you want to ask them something like, hey, would you like some advice on that? Or, can I share some feedback with you on that might be helpful, right? And get that permission before giving someone advice. Especially for you men out there, what we want to do is, we listen to someone and we want to just jump in and give them advice. We want to say, oh, hey, yeah, you got that problem. Well, here's how to fix it. And the problem with that approach is that a lot of times people don't need our advice, right? A lot of times people just want to be heard. They just want to be listened to. They just want to be understood. And so by giving someone that gift of understanding first and foremost and making sure they feel understood, you can ask them, hey, do you feel like I understand you on this? Do you feel like I really get what you're sharing here? And once they have that, then you can ask them, hey, would you like some advice on that? And if they say yes, then great, by all means, give them that advice, and then they're open to listening, and they'll actually take action. If you've ever given someone advice and they don't follow through with it, a lot of times it's because they weren't ready for that advice, right? They didn't want that advice. They just want to be understood in that moment. So by giving them that gift of understanding first, not only are they going to feel so much better about you and about their relationship, about their life, but they'll actually be much more likely to be open to your advice and be actually making those changes that will get rid of the problems or the things that they've been complaining about for months or even years, right? So give them that gift of listening first and understanding first, and it gives people the freedom to then seek out advice and actually take that advice and make some changes. The other thing is sometimes people just don't need advice at all. Sometimes just by sharing with you, just by having someone to actually listen to them, talk about their issues, their problems, the things that are going on in their life, that just gives them enough freedom to figure out on their own what they need to do. It gives them that freedom to find clarity so they know what to do next. They don't actually need your advice. They just needed to talk through what was going on in their life so they can get clear themselves and then take action and make a difference and improve their life. So if you follow these 5 tips to improve your relationships, I guarantee you're going to see much better results in your life and much better results in your relationships, but it takes conscious effort. Great relationships don't just happen automatically. right? It takes work. And a lot of us, we're afraid of that word. Oh, working on a relationship, working on a marriage, working on a friendship, working on a business partnership doesn't really sound like something you should be doing. It should just be automatic and easy, and everything should just flow, and I shouldn't have to try that hard. But that mindset really doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. Because if this person is that important to you in your life, if they're important enough to marry, if they're important enough to become a partner in your business or an employee or a colleague, if they're important enough to become a best friend or a great friend, then gosh darn it, they're important enough to work at. Right? They're important enough to go out of your way to help. They're important enough to spend the time having deep conversations with them, listening to them, and really doing your best to support them and working on that relationship. If they're important enough to spend lots of time with, I guarantee you it's important enough to work on that relationship. So never take your relationships for granted, right? Never say, well, they're my wife, they're my spouse, they're my XYZ, so, I don't have to try that hard, and they're just here, and they're always going to be there for me. That kind of mindset, we start to take things for granted. People can feel that. And we stop doing the things that show them that we appreciate them, that we love them, that we care about them. So you always have to remember to be grateful for all the relationships in your life, the big ones, the important ones, and even the small ones too. So be grateful. Let people know you appreciate them. Let people know you're grateful for having them in your life. Let people know why you appreciate them, about the work that they're doing, or how they've supported you, or the love that they share with you, or just the way that they listen to you. Let people know you appreciate them. And the more you share gratitude, the more you share appreciation, the more you're going to receive it in return, and the better you're going to feel about your life and your relationships. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you like it, please go ahead and click the like button below. Post your comments and questions below this video, and please share this video with people in your life that you love and care about the most. Imagine what the world would be like if everyone implemented these 5 tips for having better relationships. We'd have a much happier, healthier world. So please share this video to help get this message out to more people. I'm wishing you an incredible day. Take care.